What's up, boys? FaZe Doritos here. Decided to make a YouTube video. Haven't made one in a long time. Doing a guide video on how to play Affliction. Had a lot of questions about builds. Had a lot of questions about stat priorities, what comps to play, etc. So in this video today, I wanted to address some of those questions. And the first thing that I'm going to address is a very controversial: how to stat your character. And how I like to do mine is I go after the wowhead information here on diminishing returns on secondary stats. The second I hit 30%, I like to drop haste and go straight for mastery, because mastery increases. Let me show you. Mastery, this character is the stats fucked up, by the way, so ignore this character. This character is not what I like to do, but what I like to do on my other character is I dropped haste after 30% and I went straight for mastery. I went straight for mastery, and it took me to around 50% mastery after you get your proper gear. And you go to haste to 30%, which is very easy to do, guys. All you got to do is get crafted gear, and you get your crafted gear, you build haste until you can't build haste anymore after 30%, and then you go mastery. I like to play the cloak. People ask me what my embellishments are. Some people like to play the mastery one. The mastery one's pretty good if they go your partner, because you just get bonus damage, and if you're above 90%, you get extra mastery on top of whatever you have, which is pretty good. So I was thinking about crafting that, but this is really good all the time. Like, it doesn't matter what's going on. If they ever swap you, it's a free shield. You know, you have a free absorb on top of whatever shield you already have. You have more mastery, which is a good stat after, you know, getting 30% haste. So you need more mastery, which is always good. And yeah, I pretty much went for crafted rings and crafted neck. My other character with mastery, so you guys don't get confused, this would be crafted with mastery. You would craft this with mastery, and you could also craft another ring with mastery. So you could have a ring and a neck with mastery, and that should give you around like 45 to 50%. And then you could recraft your chest piece as well. You could go drop a chest piece, and you could pick up more mastery from the chest, and then you will be around 30% haste, and you will also have around 30% versatility as well. And your mastery will be around 50%. So it's a crazy amount of damage difference. Like, your dispels are hitting like over 300k. Your dots, your raw dot damage is insane. And the biggest thing about this build, guys, is people don't understand why their dots aren't doing damage when they're playing the mastery build, because they're not pressing contagion off cooldown. So another massive thing that you guys need to remember is contagion is very important when you're playing mastery, because any downtime on contagion that you're not pressing it off cooldown, you're losing a lot of pressure. Like, I was playing with my friend who plays a haste version of the lock build or whatever, and I noticed that his hits were doing a lot more than mine, and I thought mastery was bad. But mastery was not bad. It was just that I wasn't pressing contagion off cooldown because I was being tired. So it's very important to be very aware. Either you're very aware of your cooldown, or you have a weak aura somewhere on your screen to remind you that you need to press contagion, because if you start losing contagion uptime, you lose a lot of damage. So that's very important to remember. Now let's talk about rotation, okay? So when I play AF, the first thing that I like to do, because there's always kicks on the field, you never start casting UA the first thing, because if you're casting UA and you don't have any dots, let's say you get kicked, now when you're off the kick, now before you have to get anything started, you have to agony the planet. You're going to have to agony all of your kill targets, right? And it's going to be very tough for you. It's going to be very tough for you to play the game. And for some reason, I can't see nameplates. Don't know why, but it is what it is. I would dot like one target, right? Dot two targets. If it lets me dot it. I don't know what's going on. Right? And then now you could start faking to get a UA, right? Start faking, you know, get the precog. Let's say I got the precog. Then I would Soul Rot, Phantom Singularity, Dark Glare, Contagion, swap your dots, right? Dump my procs. See those ShadowBolt procs? Really juicy. If I can, press Rapture before you get the Drain. If you can't, press the Drain. The thing is, with the Drain refreshes your dots, and the Drain also dumps your 50 stack, so you can start getting stacks of Inevitable Demise again, which is very important. Now look, I already have another Soul Rot, so I'm going to dump Soul Rot again, press it again. I'm going to do the most damage. See, I have a ShadowBolt there, so it's like free 38k, and then I get another one. Now I get a Tormented Crescendo proc off of that. You see what I mean? So, like, your procs are feeding your procs. Like, I'm Shadow Bolting, and I get another proc. Press Contagion off cooldown. Swap my dots around. Soul Rot the kill target over here. ShadowBolt. Pressing Rapture to dump it. See, I have another Inevitable Demise 50 stack. See that? So I even do more damage there. Pressing Rapture to get my stacks. Keeping my UAs up. Right? Very simple, very simple. And then you just press Rapture. But make sure, guys, sometimes you want to not press Rapture. If you see your Rapid Contagion coming back off cooldown, it's very important to stop pressing Rapture so you can get your 3 shards to immediately press it again. Like I made a mistake here. See, now I can press it. See? I have a Tormented Crescendo proc there, so I get an instant Rapture. Doesn't cost any shards. Really nice. And then look, I press my ShadowBolt proc. Instantly off that, get another proc. You see it's just feeding the procs? This is why in a lot of games where, you know, they're not hitting me, I'm able to do a lot of damage because I'm getting all these free procs off of my procs, and Mastery's making my Raptures hit like 30% harder on top of taking the talent. So you're just doing so much free damage. So much free damage without casting. See, look. That's the one part that feels fluid. After a Drain Life, I'm able to just press a gigantic ShadowBolt off of the Drain Life. I don't want to sound like a ShadowBolt Copium guy, but ever since I swapped to ShadowBolt, my gameplay has felt more fluid, and the playstyle of Aff has felt more enjoyable. So you guys can still play whatever you want to play, but in my opinion, it's the most fun to play this way. So, what do I want to talk about before I finish the video? Because I get a lot of questions, you know, and I don't know if I can answer every single one in this video, but I could talk to you guys about real quick about comps and what I enjoy playing as Aff and what you guys would enjoy playing as Aff. So for me, I don't like playing melee comps because I feel like when you're playing a melee comp, you can't just sit there and put dots in everything and soak kicks every once in a while. Because if you're with a warrior, the only person a caster is going to kick is you, right? The only person they're going to kick is you. You're the focus, you know? So it's really annoying to not have that support. But when you play with a Shadow Priest, you play with another Warlock, you play with a Elemental Shaman, you play with a Boom Kid, now you have kicks going into the Boomy, you have kicks going into the Priest, you have kicks going into the Elemental Shaman occasionally, or if you play with an R-Druid, you know, he casts Clone. He casts abilities, so people want to kick him too. So it's really good, guys, when you're playing a comp to make sure you're trying to play a double wizard over with a melee, in my opinion. Because from my experience, it's just so difficult to play the game with another melee unless you're playing with a Feral Druid. That's probably the only melee you can play with. And Rogue is good too, but Rogue is kind of annoying to play with because you can't just, you know, sit there and eat kicks because Rogue doesn't eat a kick for you. Drinking some coffee. So the funnest comps to play, you know, not necessarily the best. I know Rogue Lock has a lot of potential. That EU Lock Lagnir, like I talked about earlier, really good, really nice guy, really awesome guy. He does like, I saw him, he was playing it to like 2700. So take this with a grain of salt. You know, Assassination and Affliction is actually a really strong comp with an R-Druid. So if you guys want to try that out, you can. You have Rogue friends, you want to play that, go ahead. Me, though, I don't prefer to play that comp because the playstyle of Aff just doesn't feel good when you're playing with a Rogue. When you're playing with a Shadow Priest, though, you get PI. You know, it makes your haste so much higher that you could just get dots off when you're pressing PI. Just do the most damage, and it feels so enjoyable. And you have so many survivability cooldowns. It's hard to die with a Shadow Priest, you know. If you make mistakes, it's okay when you're playing with a Shadow Priest because he could just swap you and then you're alive. Or, you know, they could just train your Shadow Priest because for some reason they think you're tankier than the Shadow Priest, which is good, you know, like if they go and run at your Shadow Priest, you're able to just pump. Thing is, when you're playing with a Rogue, when you're playing with a Warrior, everybody just targets the caster. Like, it's really annoying. It's really annoying. You have to be really good at fakes. You have to be sitting there and can't get tilted when all the kicks are going into you, so I just want to tell you guys that. Shadow play, funnest comp, good comp, has a lot of potential to get higher rating. It's easier to play. That's probably the best part about it. It's easier. You guys want to play comps that are easy. You don't want to play comps that are hard. Me too. Like, I prefer to play easy comps because I don't have to think as much. You know, sometimes I'm exhausted, but if I'm playing Shadowplay, I don't really have to think about the game too much. I just dot everything and I survive and we win eventually. So that's great. That's great. That's wonderful. Who doesn't want to play the game like that? So I just wanted to tell you guys, those are the fun comps. Shadowplay, you know, Ellie Lock works too. I like to play that comp. Boomy Lock is also great if you want to play that. Yeah, so those 3 comps are the ones that I like to play. Boomy Lock, Ellie Lock, Shadowplay. Assassination Rogue works. Warrior Lock can work too, but I prefer to stay away from these melee comps, as I said earlier. Now, last thing, I almost forgot about this, but PvP talents. I've been asked a lot of questions about PvP talents. I like to play Rot and Decay. Now, Rot and Decay, what it does is, let me go to a dummy real quick. When I full dot a dummy, right, Rot and Decay with ShadowBolt allows me to increase the duration by 3 seconds. So I'll ShadowBolt, increase the duration by 3 seconds. You could even hard cast it, but I just got another proc there. So as you can see, every time I ShadowBolt, it's increasing the duration of my dots by 3 seconds. Which is really nice because it makes it harder for your dots to fall off. You don't have to refresh it as often. And it will make your overall experience as AF way more enjoyable. And then your drain life as well. It makes your drain life refresh your dots. So if you have a soul rot, every time you soul rot, you can pretty much refresh your dots for free with a drain life. As you can see. There you go. That's pretty much it, boys. Alright guys, thanks everybody for tuning in and watching for this video. Potentially more videos to come. I don't make a lot of YouTube videos because I'm really busy with stream and stuff. But whenever I feel like it, I decide to make a YouTube video. So not super active channel, but by all means, press the sub button. I might send some more videos in the future. Thanks everybody for tuning in and watching. FaZe Doritos is my Twitch channel with 2 S's. Don't forget to go and follow that and check me there. I usually stream around 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. till late night. Sometimes I stream later than that because I'm a lazy fuck. But I'll see you guys then. Thanks everybody for tuning in and watching.